What is good, y'all? Welcome to the Mission Ready Men briefing here on the SHR Media Network, where we are training up warriors, not weaklings. And I hope you could hear that just then. If not, I hope you can hear it now. But today is Tuesday, September 9th, in the year of our Lord 2025. And this is where we come to get equipped to stand firm, speak truth, and fight back against the culture that is trying to steal your faith, your family, and your freedom. Because the battle that we're in is not just political, it's spiritual. And this fight never, ever takes a day off. So we are done pulling punches. Done. The gloves are off and we're getting after it. So be sure to follow us at Mission Ready Men on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X if you prefer, Truth Social, TikTok, and be sure to subscribe to our Rumble and YouTube channels as well. And if you want to show them that you're in this fight, grab your gear at missionreadymen.com, click Shop 7 Armors, and check out all the great designs that we have going on over there. All right. Business is done. It is go time. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this off the top, but the way things are going, I really don't have a choice. I really need to get this out there. And of course, I'm talking about the young Ukrainian refugee who fled her war-torn country to come to what she believed was the safety and security of the United States, only to be butchered on public transportation in Charlotte, North Carolina. The suspect, DeCarlos Brown, he had 14 prior arrests, diagnosed with schizophrenia, and these are all his mugshots. There are 16 of them here. I'm not sure if I'm not sure how, all the reporting says 14 arrests. There are 16 mugshots. Not sure how that happens, but regardless, I mean, he's probably been arrested more than that anyway. Who knows? But this guy just skated through the system. They just waved him through. Didn't give any thought to the fact that he needed help or that he could be a danger to the people in the community. And I wasn't going to show the footage of it, but there was a development as I was preparing for the show, and now I seem to have lost it. Here we go. There was a development where you actually hear what this guy says on audio, and we're gonna get to that here, because the justice system in this country, and sorry about that. I don't know if anybody is in the chat right now. I just connected it, so I will see it here in a second. But the justice system in this country is broken. It's not protecting the people it was designed originally to protect. It's protecting the people who are victimizing the people it was designed to protect. And let's check out this this video and pay attention to the audio, because it's telling. And then we're going to get into that here afterwards. But check this out. You hear that? Now, there's a couple of things I want to point out here. First, obviously, you hear him say, "I got that white girl." So there was, despite all of the left's protestations, there was a racial element to this. There absolutely was a racial element to this. And you can talk about how he's mentally ill or whatever, but that doesn't negate the fact that he targeted Iryna Zarutska because she was white. But the other thing I want to point out, and you can see it in the other footage where where she sits in front of him, and then he pulls out his knife. Everybody on that train is oblivious. And the people already sitting down, they're already in their phones. Okay. But then when you see him stand up and rear back with that knife, even then people don't look up. Even then people are completely clueless. And then he's walking around, blood dripping from his knife, saying, "I got that white girl." And people see the blood, they step over it, they just casually walk back to see what happened. There is no urgency at all with any of these people, with these guys. What is that? That was one of the first things that struck me when I saw that, was where is the urgency to help somebody who obviously needs it because somebody is bleeding profusely? Nothing. And I'll just stroll back, see what's going on. And not only that, but he obviously violently attacked this woman. There were, I think, 2 women sitting in that vicinity. Nobody's screaming. Nobody's calling for help. Nothing. What is going on? How is that possible? How is it that those dudes haven't stomped a mud hole in his butt? Seriously. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mentioned that there was obviously a racial element to this. And I know some people don't believe that the reason for the media's blackout, their reluctance to report on this, is because of that racial element. I completely disagree. I think that the racial element to this is, if not the number one reason, it's 1A why they didn't report it, why they had to be shamed into reporting it from social media. This happened on the 22nd of August. I just heard about it for the first time over the weekend. That's when it went viral, and that's when, well, even at that point, the American Pravda, MSDNC, the Communist News Network, and all the rest of them, even then, they didn't report on it. I think CBS reported on it on Sunday because they're kind of on the hot seat right now. They kind of had to, but everyone else waited till Monday morning. And when you look at that and compare it to the Daniel Penny case, it's astonishing. Daniel Penny, Marine Corps veteran, sees some mentally deranged individual threatening people. He steps in, subdues him. Unfortunately, the suspect ended up losing his life, but the people on that train were safe. That was wall-to-wall coverage for weeks. For weeks. Because the suspect was black and Daniel Penny was white. It's the media saturation of that story was ridiculous. But then the silence from the American Pravda on Iryna Zarutska's murder was deafening. Deafening. And just to illustrate the point that it's not just this case, there is a story in Alabama of a person by the name of Damian McDaniel, alleged to have killed 18 people, a serial killer. I bet you never heard of that case. I bet you never heard of that case. Because I didn't either until I started looking into this. And the fact that there were 18 victims of this guy, and then on top of that, a refugee from a war-torn country who was slaughtered. They have absolutely no interest in talking about that, but they want to talk about climate change and pronouns and misgendering people. That gets the news coverage. But I want to just show you this story real quick, because this is interesting. This is the mass murderer you might have never heard of, alleged killer of 18, ignored by the corrupt media, the American Pravda. Why, the author of this story writes, why wasn't this a bigger story? And the reason it wasn't a bigger story is because the perpetrator is black, and that's it. That does not fit the narrative that they are trying to portray. Larry Elder says right here, the media yawn when both perps and victims are black. He's currently on trial for murdering 18 people, most of them black, in Birmingham, Alabama, over a 2-year period. And you never heard of him. Why? Well, we know why. Canada Heavy Halls in the chat. Thank you very much, sir. And you're right. The mainstream media, the American Pravda, as I like to call them, got caught with their pants down, and they're playing defense now. Yes. Yes, they are. The mayor of Charlotte, the I don't want to say corrupt because I don't have any evidence of that, but the obviously incompetent, uncaring mayor of Charlotte had the nerve to thank the media for not sharing the footage out of respect for the family. But the truth is, she didn't want the public to see the consequences of her ridiculous failed policies. That's it. That is it. In their mind, respect is burying the story, not the policies that let a dangerous career criminal diagnosed schizophrenic roam free. And the judge, the last judge who saw him in her courtroom or his courtroom, I can't remember if it's a male or female judge. Regardless, the last judge that saw him did not order an evaluation and just let him run free. And now Iryna Zarutska is dead. And when the mayor issued that statement, it was 5 days after Miss Zarutska's murder. And 10 days after that, after this story got national attention, she issued another statement. And it is just as cringe as you can imagine. Charlotte is by and large a safe city. Cats, by and large, is a safe transit system. Well, I think Iryna Zarutska would disagree. Anyway. However, tragic incidents like these should force us to look at what we are doing across our community to address root causes. We will never arrest our way out of issues such as homelessness and mental health. Mayor Mohawk in Chicago said something similar. But the fact is, DC, President Trump in DC is proving that you absolutely can arrest yourself out of these problems. It's the only way. It's the only way. It's the fact that they keep spouting this is insane to me. Getting back to the suspect, he was arrested 14 times, ordered a mental competency exam that was never done, as I said. This was not just a failure. This was bureaucracy choosing quote unquote compassion, I guess, over safety. This government will let a 13-year-old take all kinds of hormones and get all kinds of mutilating surgeries to so-called transition, but they can't figure out or don't want to figure out how to get a violent schizophrenic off the street. It's ridiculous. Daniel Penny was arrested and charged and put on trial. And Iryna Zarutska, an innocent victim, crickets, no protests, no national outcry. Yet, and when George Floyd, that fine, upstanding citizen, was no longer walking the earth. The leftist politicians were talking about how he was looking down on us from heaven and they were bending the knee. But Iryna Zarutska, a refugee from a war-torn country, absolutely crickets. That should tell you all you need to know about these people. It really should. The real crime, apparently, is trying to stop violence, not committing violence, according to these people. And just to close this out, this is why the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, is essential. You can't count on the police. As I always say, when seconds count, the police are only minutes away. You can't count on the courts because they won't enforce their orders to get these violent criminals and these mentally ill individuals off the street. And the mayor, in this instance, was more worried about optics than the safety of her citizens. The only person you can count on in the moment is yourself. And I am not criticizing the victim in this case. I mean, who's to say, even if she had been more situationally aware, if she would have been able to do anything to stop what happened? I don't know. And that's not the point of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, in general, you are your own first responder. And the only person that you really can count on in a moment like that is yourself. Obviously, she had people around her who could have rendered aid and apparently did absolutely nothing, didn't even scream, didn't even alert anyone. People just casually strolling through the car. Like, oh, let me go see what might be going on back. Don't even get me started on that again. And the irony here is that the people who are calling for the restrictions on law-abiding gun owners are the same people who are letting these violent repeat offenders roam the streets. Exactly, BZ. Exactly. BZ says, you have always been and will always be your own first responder. Absolutely. If you're a thug, apparently the system has your back. This corrupt system has your back. If you're a Marine defending passengers, they'll throw the book at you because reasons. And if you're a young woman getting off her shift at work, minding her own business, and you happen to be a victim of one of these thugs, well, the mayor thanks the media for not making a fuss. It's not about public safety for these people. It's about narrative safety. And the only safe bet is arming yourself. Because the people in charge clearly could not care less. Sad and tragic, and did not have to happen. All right, that actually gives me a good segue into the next segment, which is about gun rights. Let's take a look at some of these chats real quick first. Thanks for being here, BZ. Appreciate it. BZ said he's got to go. Thanks for spending some time here anyway, BZ. Appreciate it. B says carry every day, everywhere. Absolutely. Canada Heavy Haul. The problem is this: every time someone stands up and goes into help, the book gets thrown at them. Yep, Daniel Penny. There's no such thing as a good Samaritan anymore for that exact fact. Yes. Sad but true. There are some people who will take the slings and arrows, but those people are very, very few and very far between. And we brought that on ourselves, unfortunately. All right. So the DOJ has floated this story about banning gun ownership for gender-deluded individuals diagnosed with gender dysphoria. And obviously this is a result of the most recent shooting in Minnesota. And the DOJ is I guess looking for solutions. And it's a good question to ask. Safety matters. Safety is paramount. Safety is their job. Their job is to keep people safe. Nobody wants dangerous people. Obviously dangerous people with guns. But the Constitution doesn't have exceptions. The Constitution doesn't vanish every time there's a tragedy. And we're gonna get deeper into that. But first, I want to get a word in from our sponsor, and then we're gonna dive in. But our sponsor for today's show is Carry Girl Gear, and today I'm not sure how long it's going to go on, but there is a sale. Buy one, get one free. So, fellas, if you are looking for some gear for your girl or for your wife or your daughter, go ahead and check out Carry Girl Gear. They got some great tees, great prices on some of the softest, most comfortable fabric you can imagine. One tee is lonely. Give it a $10 bestie. Use code BOGOBABE. Go ahead and check that out. And it's fall, so the sweatshirts are more readily available. Check out all of these great designs that we have over here. And we still got the Freedom Barrel tee with the a riff on the Cracker Barrel issue that took place a few weeks ago. So go ahead and check that out. And if you are anything like me and aren't very good at buying gifts, go ahead and get yourself a gift card and let her pick out the gear for once, because for herself, because she will get exactly what she wants. You don't have to worry about getting the wrong thing, getting the wrong size, getting the wrong design. She'll get exactly what she wants, and you will look like a hero. So check out carrygirl.com today and check out all of those great designs, and show some love and make it count. Visit carrygirl.com today. All right. let's get back to this because this is important. And there are there are laws already on the books for someone who has been adjudicated mentally ill that bars them from buying or possessing firearms. Mental health adjudication already renders someone a prohibited possessor. It's already there. We don't need new categories. We don't need any new laws. We just need we just need actual enforcement and proper reporting. Now, the DSM-5 does have gender dysphoria as a diagnosis, but it emphasizes um, distress or impairment, not necessarily the identity itself. And I understand why the DOJ is looking at this and wondering, does this diagnosis in and of itself equal um, elevated risk? It's a question that I have had, and it's a question that I have gone back and forth with because when these things happen, of course, my knee jerk reaction is these people are nuts and they should be evaluated as such. But due process is paramount in this case, in these cases. You can't just lump all gender deluded people into a class that disqualifies them without proper adjudication, without due process. Because if we do that, where will it end? Every veteran who has PTSD could be stripped of their rights. They've tried that before already. We handle cases, we're supposed to handle cases individually with mental health professionals, courts, and things of that nature involved. That's how this is supposed to work. I understand that the DOJ wants to prevent the next tragedy, but the danger of painting an entire class with a broad brush, um, which obviously, if you've been listening to me at all, you know that I have been prone to do that when it comes to the gender deluded people. But I'm a podcaster. I am I do not have the power to enact any of this. When the government starts doing it, they're not protecting anyone. They are undermining the system that is supposed to protect our liberty. And so if identity equals disqualification, where will that end? Where will that end? A veteran with PTSD, depression, anxiety, political beliefs. As much as I can't stand the ideology that leftists um, embrace, I would never want a Republican, Trump or Vance or whoever else. I would never want them to just, with the stroke of a pen, say, okay, if you're a registered Democrat, you can't have a gun. That's not how it works. Canada Heavy Hall says the problem is this: every time someone stands up and goes in to help, the book gets thrown at them. Oh yeah, I already read that one. Sorry, it looked new. My bad. Um, yeah. So where would it end? Where would it end? And NRA, Gun Owners of America, all the other uh, gun rights groups, while they're sympathetic to while they're sympathetic to the issue, while they're sympathetic to wanting to prevent violence, blanket gun bans are not the answer. The concern, excuse me, the concerns are valid. It's the method that it's the method that matters. And without having employing due process, it is unconstitutional. We can be pro safety and pro rights at the same time. The two are not mutually exclusive. The two are not mutually exclusive. It's not an either or proposition. The real answer, and I've said this before when it comes to crime, the real answer is enforcing laws, enforcing the mental health restrictions, putting a framework in place that allows for better reporting and coordination between the medical establishment and law enforcement and the courts. I said this, like I said, when it comes to crime, we can arrest ourselves out of this madness. Chicago can arrest itself out of the violence that they see every week. Lock them up. My prescription has been um, 5 years for the first gun offense, 10 years for the second gun offense, third gun offense, and you go away for life. Do that a few times. Put some of those gangbangers away for that amount of time. I would be surprised if they get caught and end up going away for another 10 years after the first 5. And they certainly aren't going to want to get risk going away for life. And I guarantee you that would have a precipitous drop in gun violence. Enforce the laws, and that law is on the books in some places. Enforce the laws already on the books. It's that simple. Invest in treatment options for these people, like real treatment options, not indulging the delusion, but actually treat these people with for the mental illness that they are so obviously displaying. Blanket bans are not the answer. Case by case adjudication. It protects safety if they actually do this, and it protects rights. But the swamp rats don't like nuance. The only way they see out of it is to just shred the Constitution. Wanting to stop violence, wanting to stop these attacks is not crazy. But the cure can't be worse than a disease. Despite what Terry McAuliffe said, our rights are not granted by the laws written down on a piece of paper. And therefore, they can't be revoked by a rumor or group identity. They have to be protected by due process. And if we abandon that, we don't just lose the Second Amendment, we lose the entire Constitution. And if we lose that, we lose the country. Safety without liberty is just another word for control. And of course, we all know that's exactly what the left wants. All right. I want to pivot to something. This has been a pretty heavy show. I'm going to try and get to some lighter stuff here later on, but I want to get to this because this is something else that, I mean, we're just letting things fall apart. We're just letting things fall apart. We're letting people. Anyway, let's get into it because I want to talk about Islam. Our friend BZ likes to say that China is our enemy, and he's right. And I've said that a few times myself. I got it from him. Islam is our enemy as well. And I know people are going to say, Islam is a religion. Islam can't be our enemy. Oh, yes, it can. Oh, yes, it can. Islam and the people who adhere to it 100% are our enemy. And if there are Muslims listening, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. Your religion is based on conquest and submission. Islam was born in the trenches. It was born in conquest. It was started with swords and raids and forced conversions. Muhammad wasn't running a bed and breakfast. He was running war bands and taking over cities, taking over territories, expanding by the sword. And this whole religion of peace nonsense. The only people who ever bought that never read the Quran. Islam is not a religion of peace. It is a religion of conquest. The only peace that you can hope to get with Islam is after you submit. The Sharia Playbook is conquer, colonize, control. When Muhammad formed Islam, within a century, Muslims steamrolled from Spain to India. They were conquering everything. They were having everyone submit to them, everyone they came in contact with. Christianity spread underground, under persecution for 300 years. Islam spread through military conquest. Big, big difference. The DNA of Islam is conquest first, and theology, such as it is, later. And I don't want to get into a huge history lesson with Islam. So I just want to lay that groundwork first, and then fast forward now to the UK, where 4 million Muslims, 6% of the population in the UK, 15% in London. And it's not just halal grocery stores, kebab shops, 1,500 mosques in London alone. Wow. They allow Sharia courts. Police look the other way in those neighborhoods where they're effectively self-policed by Sharia law. And imams flat out say, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. Imams flat out say that the mission is Islamic rule. The mission is to create a worldwide caliphate, which they're telling you that they're going to be running things, that their plan is to be running things. Islam's, and when when you have all these immigrants, these invaders, they're not there to integrate. They're not there to blend in. They're there to colonize. They're there to conquer. They're there to control. And it's not just the UK. I've talked about this before in Florida. It's not home to just Disney and Universal and retirees. It's home to 500,000 Muslims. Tampa Bay and Miami are the hubs, but there's over 150 mosques, Islamic madrasas, halal businesses. They have an entire infrastructure that they're expanding on in the state of Florida. And I've talked about this before as well. The imams in Florida are not quiet. They're not shy about what their plans are. And I think I have actually played this clip before, but let's take a look at it.
We are buying these churches. We bought 3 churches so far, converted them to masjids, and now we have one we are buying with a school to make it, because we have to serve the same people. The people who were part of that community, one day they will be Muslims. So we'll make it into a masjid and an Islamic school for our children and their children, inshallah. 100 years ago, they invaded the Muslim world and they built missionary schools and destroyed Islamic schools and masjids. Today, we bring the favor back, turn their churches into masjids and their schools into Islamic schools, bring the light of Islam to here. We're able to.
He's telling you the plan. And we're just letting it happen. And it's not just Texas. I mean, it's not just Florida, it's Texas. The place that has this reputation for being a bastion of freedom. And Texas has let that slip away. That's right, Canada Heavy Hall. They have openly said repeatedly that they plan to outbreed us. It's happening. It's happening. Their birth rate is, I think, over twice what the rest of the Western world is. And probably even more than that, just in the United States alone. Yeah, they plan to outbreed us. But in Texas, where like I said, they have the reputation of being this bastion of freedom and independence. There are Sharia patrols, and I think I have a couple of those clips here as well. And it's it's really it's mind-boggling that this is happening, that this is allowed to happen. Um, let's take a look at this one.
And not violate the religion of Islam by selling and distributing products that are against the religion, because we should Allah loves and we should hate what Allah hates. This is what we're here for, and little by little, one by one, we're going to be visiting all of the stores in the neighborhood, particularly the inner city neighborhoods where the religion of Islam is ignored, by not violate the religion of Islam.
The religion of Islam. Well, I shouldn't say it should be ignored, because ignoring it is what got us here. But we can't we can't allow this. We cannot allow this. And this is Texas. He's talking about getting beer, alcohol, pork out of stores. It's like, beer and bacon? You want to ban that in Texas? Are you out of your mind? Well, I mean, he's a Muslim, so yeah, he is. But there was another one of the same guy going into one of these stores, and he's not shy. He's not shy about his intentions.
Alaikum. Alaikum. Mashallah. Alhamdulillah. Alaikum. Muslim, right? Mashallah. You know, as a merchant, you have every legal right to sell whatever you want. But as a Muslim, I have a responsibility to tell you, to educate the people and let them know that as a Muslim, you shouldn't sell haram. That the alcohol, the pork, the gambling is all against Islam. And so I'm just letting you know ahead of time, in about 30 days, we're going to start doing demonstrations around the city. The Muslims that have businesses with haram in it will let the people know that we have to teach the people the best. The Muslims have the best. So let the owners know you should begin to change the inventory, or we're just going to demonstrate. We can't stop you. You have a right to do it, but we have to give the dawah to let the people know the truth about Islam, okay? So get the haram out of your store. May Allah bless you. I love you for the sake of Allah. Assalamu alaikum.
Do you really think it's going to stop at the stores owned by Muslims, especially if they get away with it? The Sharia Playbook is conquest and control. So the fact that this is being allowed in Texas is crazy to me. And right now it's demonstrations, it's suggestions. He's paying lip service to the you have the right to do it, we can't stop you. Come on. It is going to get to the point where they are going to physically shut these stores down, physically take over these stores. The state that gave us the Alamo is now fighting Sharia. And Sharia isn't just creeping. Sharia is on the march. The crescent is on the march. Islam's texts, Islam's holy book, such as it is, says to fight until Islam prevails over all religions. That's pretty clear. They're not mincing words there. Warfare, conquest, domination, submission. That is their end goal. And in one of the passages in their book, I can't remember which one, they twist the story of Jesus Christ and say that he's coming back to smash the cross and kill the pigs and enforce Islam. Obviously, we know that that's completely ridiculous. But the difference between what they say, fight Islam until fight until Islam prevails over all religions, and the Bible says Jesus told us to go and make disciples, teaching them to obey everything I commanded. It's not beat them into submission. It's not kill them if they don't believe, which is what's in the Quran. It's teach them. The Bible teaches grace. The Quran teaches conquest. In the Quran, they're taught that they can kill the infidel, or they can convert them, or if they don't want to kill them and they won't convert, they can pay a tax that allows them to live, a jizya. Christianity doesn't offer a sword. There's no tribute tax. There's no convert or die. It's just love and persuasion. Islam is expanded by conquest and micromanaging every aspect of a Muslim's life. And Christianity is persuasion, teaching, the Holy Spirit, a love that sets people free. Which one actually wins hearts and minds, and which one actually cuts people's heads off? One is rooted in rules and threats, and one is rooted in grace. And maybe that's why Islam obsesses over Christianity, because it knows that gospel of love is going to be a huge roadblock to their domination. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes moving forward, especially in Texas and Florida. The UK has basically fallen at this point. I saw a post. I didn't save it, but there was a post. I want to say it was from Tommy Robinson, where, let me see if I can pull it up, because it's pretty illustrative of what's going on. I'll see if I can find it. If not, it's not a big deal. But it's saying that, has a quote of the people of the UK wondering why. Oh yeah, here it is. Let's check this out. The British public, why aren't the Home Office stopping the migrant invasion? And this is the Home Office. That's why. The UK has fallen. They they threw open the gates, rolling out the red carpet. And I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot that the UK can do about it at this point. I think they have crossed the Rubicon. I hope I'm wrong, but anyway, let's stay with Texas because, well, Texas and Florida, really. There is a movement afoot in the states of Florida and Texas to, well, in Florida to completely eliminate property taxes. And property taxes, the longer I've been a homeowner, the more irritated, let's leave it at that, I become when it comes to property taxes. Because the county owns your home. And if you're still paying a mortgage, the county and the bank own your home. And you entered into a contract with the bank, so that's fine. But if you pay it off, you're still basically paying rent to the county for your home. You miss one of those tax payments, even if the mortgage is paid off, they will take it. And Ron DeSantis is actually leading a charge, and he's been talking about this for a while, but it's starting to gain some steam. And let me see if I can pull it up. Sean talked about on his show last night how he ran into some issues just before he went on the air, how he has a routine and stuff like that. And he's right. We all have a routine that we go through when we're getting ready for the shows. And my routine got upended a little bit. And so some other tabs that I have ready or had ready, or plan to have ready anyway, it's a little discombobulated. So I apologize for that. But I do have this one. And this is Ron DeSantis talking about property taxes and getting rid of it. So let's take a look at that.
Well, I want to congratulate Bay County for being the first Florida county to voluntarily request an audit under DOJ of their county finances. We've seen property tax assessments go up across Florida at the local level. Taxpayers are pinched. They're paying more than they ever have. Even though we have homestead exemption, it hasn't been enough to fully protect taxpayers. Shouldn't you know how this money is being spent, especially in those counties that have seen dramatic increases in their state budgets? Now we are working with the Florida legislature to get more prescriptive authority to be able to go in and conduct audits of these local governments so that taxpayers get the full picture of what's going on. But until that happens, counties that are willing to step up and ask for these audits are really leading by example. And, you can have all your ducks in a row. There's always things that you can do better. And so I think Bay County stepping up, doing what they did, really sets a strong example for other counties throughout the state of Florida. Now, we are going to be working on providing relief from the property tax situation. It's very important, given how that's pinched so many homeowners, particularly our senior citizens who have their homes paid off and they bought it 30 years ago for a certain amount. Now they're being told it's worth so much more and they have to pony up more and more money. It's almost like they have to pay rent to the government just to be able to enjoy their property. And that's wrong. We need to do something about it. We're also going to continue to work with these cities and counties voluntarily over the ensuing weeks and months. But we really hope to be able to deliver some serious audits working with the Florida legislature of what's going on in these local governments. I thank Bay County for what they did.
So yeah, he's absolutely right. And he's pushing for a ballot measure in 2026 to completely abolish property taxes. Once you pay off your mortgage, that should be it. That should be it. And the scam is they keep evaluating your home. It appreciates in value, and you have to pay taxes on that increased value every year. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. Texas is, or there are people in Texas. Governor Abbott hasn't fully committed to this. One of the reasons we left Texas was because our property taxes were just ridiculous, despite the ag exemptions that we had. The taxes were insane, and we looked to stay in Texas, but for the property we were looking for, between acreage and landscaping and things like that, the taxes would have been astronomical. Despite the price of the home, the taxes year over year, and they've been increasing. I think in the last 3 years that we lived in Texas, our taxes went up 25% year over year. That's insane. But Brian Harrison in Texas, he calls property taxes unethical, and he's right. It is a huge infringement on property rights, and he's right. No tax, I think, is more anathema to the American way of life than property taxes. And it's gaining steam in Michigan and Ohio and Texas as well. And I really am looking forward to a day when property taxes are completely abolished. Now, people who are against this will say that ending property taxes will gut schools and gut police. That just means that the government doesn't have a blank check anymore. They're going to have to actually budget. They're going to actually have to be good with the money that they do have. Property taxes make up 70% of local revenue. That's the big problem. Local governments have become addicted to that steady stream of money that they really don't have a right to. Some people would probably be willing. Texas has no state income tax. Some people may be willing to trade property taxes for an income tax. I'm not willing to do it. I'll have that discussion, my mind can maybe be, I can maybe be persuaded, but um, I think taxes are just completely immoral regardless. But there are other things you could do: sales taxes, service fees, tourism. That's Florida's big advantage right there is tourism. Actually cutting waste. What a concept. Florida actually has implemented or is about to implement a state level Doge type program. I think every state should do that. Maybe we don't need 3 or 4 deputy assistant commissioners in charge of pencil sharpening or whatever it is that they do. Property taxes need to go. And this isn't fantasy. This is a test of whether government works for the people or the people work for the government. And we know what the government thinks. We know what these politicians think. They think we're their cash cows. Now, this was put to the voters in 2023, and the fear mongering won, and they voted it down. Florida and Texas seem to have the scale and the ability to make it work. I think it can work everywhere, honestly. Abolishing property taxes is about forcing the government to prioritize and stop treating homeowners like their personal ATM machine, which is what the property taxes amount to. 70% of local revenue comes from property taxes. And it doesn't just save money, which is a huge thing. But it doesn't just do that. You actually then own your own home, especially if you pay it off, because obviously with the mortgage, the bank has their hooks in it. But once you pay it off, it's yours. You don't have to worry about the government coming to take it if you miss the payment because you're not making any. And if you think the government should be your landlord, well, then more power to you. But for those of us with some common sense, it's time to kick the tax man in the booty and kick him off our property. All right. A couple other things I want to get to. I talked about Roblox a little while back and how they were basically, that game is basically a hunting ground for predators. Now it seems that Roblox is taking things a little more seriously. Late to the game, Roblox claims it will use tech to keep adults away from kids as grooming scandal deepens. TechCrunch reports that the popular online gaming platform is taking new steps to address child safety concerns that have been raised in recent lawsuits. The company announced that by the end of the year, it will roll out its age estimation system to all users who access Roblox communication tools, including voice and text-based chats. This technology involves scanning users' selfies and analyzing facial features to estimate their age. The goal is to prevent predators from having access to children playing games on the platform. Well, it's something, I guess. But they are finally taking it seriously, I guess. But it took lawsuits, arrests, and hundreds, if not thousands, of children victimized by the predators they let on their platform. Apparently, the line between innovative gaming platform and predator playground, predator hunting ground, was just too blurry for them. And it took lawyers and lawsuits to come banging down their door before they could see it clearly, I guess. Now, I'm really not sure what if these proposals really are going to help matters, because facial recognition means that the kids are going to have to upload selfies to the platform. And like I said, I'm not sure that that is the answer, but I don't know. It just seems like still seems like a bad idea all the way around. Part of the restriction is that adults can't chat with kids unless they know each other in real life. Come on. Come on. That's really that, yeah, that's going to stop these predators from lying and gaming the system. Really? Come on. Louisiana has sued Roblox for enabling this. Georgia has a lawsuit pending involving a 9-year-old victim. Congress and activists are touting this Kids Online Safety Act and thinking it's going to be a panacea, a cure-all. Lawmakers are all clutching their pearls about Roblox, but TikTok and Instagram kids are just unchecked. So what's it really about? Is it just because Roblox has gotten into the spotlight? Seems more like damage control and PR. Roblox is saying that they have this Sentinel AI catching grooming attempts, 1,200 in 2025. Okay, seems kind of low, but I really I don't know. I don't know. This just seems like too little, too late, because predators still get through. For the 1,200 that they flagged, how many got through? Just like known getaways on the border or unknown gotaways on the border. Yeah, they caught 150 people, but 500 got away. I mean, they banned a kid who was victimized on the platform from engaging in his own stings to stop these predators, and they banned him. They didn't ban the people that were preying on the kids. They banned the kid trying to stop him. Well, he's an adult now because it made him look bad. So Roblox claims that they're growing a conscience, but they're still prioritizing their profits. They only clean house when dragged kicking and screaming by litigation. But I guess parents can rest easy because their kid's digital babysitter is now now guarded by AI. Uh, come on, come on. This is ridiculous. There were a couple of other things I wanted to get to, and we're running short on time here. Let's see if I can pull them up real quick. If not, I'll go ahead and let you go. But let's see if we can do this, because this was somewhat of a heavy show, and I want to leave you with a little lighthearted stuff here, if we can. Then again, the world we live in. Actually, you know what? I actually missed something that I wanted to touch on in one of my earlier segments, and I really want to get to that too, because that was a big one, and I got caught up in some of the other stuff and missed it, and it just came to me regarding the media blackout of the murder of Iryna Zarutska. You do not, and I don't like to use this as a Christian. I do not like to use the word hate when it comes to people. We're commanded to love our neighbors as ourselves. But collectively, you do not hate the American Pravda, mainstream media, whatever you want to call it. You do not hate them enough. Ever how much you think you hate them, you do not hate them enough. And again, I don't like using that word, but I think it is appropriate in this particular case, in the collective, and if not, then I'll repent. But for right now, you do not hate them enough. And I say that, and I want to show you this to prove to you why I'm right.
This month, it only gained national news attention here in the past couple of days. Why is that?
Right, most murders in the U.S. never become national news. This one's garnered attention for a couple of reasons. Number one, first and foremost, the recent release of that gruesome video. Second, the energy from pro-Trump activists. They picked up on this video from local news and ran with it. It's a little bit like...
Remember Republicans pounce a few years back? Every time something happened with the left and Republicans pointed it out, it was Republicans pounce. That's what this is.
The times when civil rights groups have raised attention about police-involved shootings. In this case, it is Trump-aligned influencers who are posting up a storm about this case on social media. Really, over the weekend, Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, other Trump-aligned figures succeeded in making this senseless death a symbol of big city crime. We heard...
Well, it is. It is a symbol of big city crime because it didn't have to happen. It happened because of leftist policies. Potato head.
President Trump asked about it yesterday when he was heading home from New York City. He didn't seem to know much about it. He said he would get briefed. And then today, Trump did know all about it. That's exactly what has happened here. This story has trickled up from local news to social media and now to the president's attention. And it's being used, as you said, Brianna, as a political symbol, with MAGA media calling for more forceful punishments and more incarceration.
We didn't need this story. Iryna Zarutska didn't have to die for us to say that. We've been pushing for that forever. This whole thing about the blue city violence is because of that. the American Pravda, ever how much you think you hate them, it's not enough.
I have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist, stoking fear of African Americans because this man attacked a white woman. The open racism on sites like X today, it's eye-popping. But there are also legitimate questions about this so-called career criminal, someone who had been a repeat offender. And those questions, I hope they're not lost amid all of the cesspool kind of comments on social media.
He is a reprehensible human being. You realize, and I'm going to let this go after this, you realize that, and we talked about it with the Daniel Penny case, if a white guy had slashed the throat of an attractive black woman and muttered all over the train as he's dripping her blood, I got that black girl, or I got that N-word, it would be wall-to-wall coverage, just like it was with George Floyd. You know it, I know it, they know it. But this is about protecting the narrative, not about safety, as I said. Anyway, folks, so much for keeping it light, huh? That's all I got for you this time. I will keep trying to make each show better than the last. If anything that I said hits home for you, please take a second to like and subscribe and share this video with everyone that you know. And I didn't even really mention earlier the other shows we have here on the SHR Media Network, where you can catch my good friend Sackhead Sean with The Edge of Liberty every Monday and Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. He was on last night, had a great show. The Reaver of Common Sense with Jersey Joe every Monday and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific. I believe he's going to be back soon. Not sure exactly when, but he is preparing to come back. And then we have BZ with the Berserk Bobcat Saloon every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. So please like and subscribe and share all of those guys' great shows, and pray that we have a huge breakthrough. We're sitting at 608 subscribers right now on YouTube. So share these videos, share the channel with everyone that you know, so that we can grow and reach as many people as we possibly can. And so, as I said, share with everyone you know. We're not trying to just opine and talk for an hour and a half. We're here to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ and the message of faith, freedom, and hope for future generations. And if you want some cool gear, head over to missionreadymen.com, click Shop 7 Armors, and check out all of the great designs there about bold faith, true grit, and unapologetic patriotism. And as always, when seconds count, the police are only minutes away, but the Lord is right there with you. So keep your prayers going up and your head on a swivel. God bless.